Of course, if you'd like... I bet you didn't know I had a pet Tasmanian devil. This is a terrible idea. Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. Today, we're going to do another P.O. Box unboxing. I really need to figure out a good intro for these. Anyway, don't let this big bad toy store box fool you. Once again, this package comes to us from our friend Jace. Of course, if you'd like to send me anything, you can mail it here. No reason to delay, so let's dig in. Okay, and there are a couple of things this time. We've got the Power Rangers Lightning Collection SPD Green Ranger and a Naruto figure. Specifically, this is the Shoujin Jump Naruto. I've never reviewed one of these before, so that's really exciting. There's also a note. If you ever want to see your father again, you're gonna have to review these figures. Kidding, kidding. Hey Jason, I'm really glad you liked the Storm Shadow action figure I sent you. Ever since the first time we started talking, I really became a fan of your channel, and now, after so many chit-chats, I'm glad I can now call you one of my best friends. Dude, thank you. Now, I hope you enjoy these gifts I sent you as well. Thank you so much, Jace. I'm really excited to take a look at these, and so I'm going to do so right now. Since Power Rangers is a bit more in my wheelhouse, I'm going to start there. Also, I'm going to try something different today and not actually do points. But don't worry, I'll still go through all the categories. Starting off with the packaging, we have a nice window box. Pretty clear idea of everything that's in there. Mostly white and black motif, accented of course with green. Similar to the G.I. Joe figure we looked at in the last unboxing, this one wraps around. SPD logo on the side, and nothing on the back but a product shot. As I said in my pumpkin wrapper review, there's a lot of missed opportunity for a character bio, or maybe showing other figures in a wave, but that doesn't make it bad. I really like how the side art looks if you line up all your Power Ranger boxes, and having the jaggedy white shape to differentiate which series you're looking at really helps too. Getting Bridge out of the box, he stands at 6 inches. Full disclosure, I stopped watching Power Rangers after Mighty Morphin, so I'm not really familiar with this version. Anything I know came from a Google search before I started filming. As for my knowledge of the figure, I'm gonna have to dive into speculation. Since this is mostly a basic bodysuit, I'm gonna assume that there's a lot of reuse. Whether that reuse is for SPD itself or just the line in general, I couldn't tell you. That said, I'm absolutely positive that this helmet is new and they've done a really good job. Moving down, SPD has been stamped on his chest, along with the line work. Admittedly, the white is a little bit brighter on the bottom than the top, but stepping back in normal light and you'll barely notice. Very crisply sculpted badge on the shoulder. The cuffs are sculpted on, so those might be unique either to this figure or this particular set of Rangers. Bit of ribbing on the gloves, and the belt does a nice job of hiding the bottom of the ab crunch. From what I can see in the images I've Googled, there should be a little bit of black in the belt, but I can understand why Hasbro didn't do it. At least they gave us the black detailing on the cuffs of the boots and gloves. Moving on to posability, and the Green Ranger's head's on a ball joint and a disc hinge. You can look this far up, that far down. No real tilt unfortunately, but he can look all the way around. Moving down, his arms get over 90 degrees, forward and back with a butterfly joint, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows with a very deep bend, and swivel hinge wrists. They actually hinge side to side. Shifting the torso, and he has a diaphragm joint and a reverse ab crunch. Arching backwards, he can limbo this far, and hunching forward is pretty good. Of course, thanks to that diaphragm joint, he can also tilt and twist. Below the unpainted belt buckle, he has ball jointed hips. They can kick this high, which is okay, and they can split this wide, which is again okay. Moving down the leg, he has thigh cut, double jointed knee again with a very deep bend, boot cut, and ankles that can hinge and pivot. Moving on to playability, and the Green Ranger comes with the hilt of his gun. It goes into the holster like so. He also comes with a staff/barrel. You can either assemble it like so, or store it here. He also comes with a telescoped version of it. That's how that looks. There's even a blast effect for the tip that also fits on the little one. Additionally, he comes with an open grip hand. It's perfectly designed to hold his Delta Morpher. Also, Google tells me this is called a Delta Max Striker. If only the box told me. Anyways, he also has a chopping hand and an unhelmeted head. The cool thing is that the swappable head technically makes this helmet an additional accessory on its own. That's a really cool feature. Normally, this is a time where I'd be doing comparisons, but I'm going to save those for the end with both figures. This brings us to Naruto. Naruto. Starting with the packaging, and he also comes in a mostly white box, this time accented with orange. Shonen Jump Naruto Shippuden up here, and then down here we have the anime hero's logo and character name. Nice picture of Naruto here, and again a nice big window to show you what we're getting. Anime heroes up top, names and logos on the side, and on the back we can see the other available characters. One thing that really surprised me was that this was all the legal on the figure, with the bottom just being another logo. Switching back over to Hasbro for a second, between all the legal here and all the other fine print down here, this is honestly really refreshing. Moving on to presentation, and to the top of his hair, Naruto stands at 5 3/4 inches. According to Google, he's a teenager at this point in the story and stands at 5 feet 6 inches. Assuming that's the top of his scalp and not his hair, that would make this a 6-inch scale figure. From the top, and I'm pretty impressed with the job they did on the hair. Translating something like this to 3 dimensions can't be easy, but this definitely works. Compared to the box art, his facial expression is very serious, but the black line work on the headband, eyes, and cheeks is very crisp. More of the hair from the side, and in the back we get a headband. I'm also impressed by how clean the zipper is. Flipping him around, there's a red swirly on his back. I'm sure that for those of you in the know, it's a lot more special than red swirly, but to me it's a red swirly. Some of you probably want to give me a swirly right now for my lack of knowledge. Very cleanly painted badge on the side. Interesting how both of today's figures had white boxes and silver shoulder badges. Moving on down, the paintwork around the leg strap isn't quite as neat as the rest of the figure. He does have a black pouch here, and another one back here that must make sitting down a real pain in the butt. And then moving all the way down, we have some open-toed boots. One thing I do find a bit distracting are the joints. To maximize articulation, the shoulders are jutting out. He's got somewhat distracting wrist balls, very gappy knees, and very spindly ball-jointed ankles. There's also some issues with the hips that I'll get to in a minute. With that in mind, we might as well move on to posability. For on the top, and Naruto's head's on a dumbbell joint. Because of that hair, he can't look up whatsoever, but he can look this far down. He does get a bit of tilt, and all the way around. Thanks to those gappy shoulders, he can raise his arm up way high. He also gets forward and back, bicep swivel, pinless double-jointed elbows, and again wrist balls. Moving to the middle, and he doesn't have any torso articulation except for a waist cut. That works like so. Below that waist cut is where things get interesting. As we can see, there's a lot of engineering down there. It allows the hips to move up and down, and that drop-down hip allows him to kick 90 degrees and split pretty wide. It also gives him twist, but again, if you twist out too much, that engineering does become very obvious. And speaking of obvious, that once again brings us to these very gappy knees. I was fairly surprised to see that they were pinned, and once you bend it, he really has no knee whatsoever. Moving all the way down, his feet are on ball-jointed swivel hinges. Popping it off, and maybe you can see what I mean. They pop on and off really easily, by the way. Similar to a DC Multiverse, they can swivel, hinge, and not really pivot so much as jiggle in place. Moving on to playability, and Naruto Comes with His Rasengan. Please do forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right. Again, I got that off of Google. It pegs into his tiny baby hand. As for his other hand, it's perfect for holding on to this. Mess with Naruto and you get the stabbo. He also comes with an accessory holding right hand, as well as an open left hand, but no peg hole on that one. Additionally, he comes with finger guns. And yes, I know that's not what that is. I just enjoy messing with you. But playability is more than just yanking my audience's chain with my lack of knowledge. It's also about how well your figures play with others. Starting with the only other Power Ranger figure I have, and here we have Pumpkin Wrapper. For a character I was thinking about the entire time I've been looking at Naruto, and here we have the leader. But for a good basic Marvel Legend, and here we have Ultimate Cap. For some other Hasbro lines, and here's Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe. All 3 of these figures came from Jace. Here's Peter Venkman from the Ghostbusters Plasma series, and Han Solo from the Star Wars Black series. For another import, and here we have the Mayfax Hush, which brings me to my highly scientific Rebirth Batman scale. First up, and here's DC Icons, next is Mattel, and here we have DC Multiverse. For a relative scale comparison, here they are with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man, and as always, here they are with Stealth Iron Man. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. The Lightning Collection retails for $25, but this guy is available on Amazon right now for only $15. As for the Anime Heroes line, they retail for $19.99, which in an era of ever-increasing prices is pretty nice. Of course, these 2 figures in particular were gifts, and I really appreciate them. It's always fun to check out different toy lines and see how different companies handle engineering, and I'm super excited to have a standard Power Ranger to add to my size comparison section. Thank you again, Jace, and to all of you for your ongoing love and support. For price, these 2 and this community are priceless. If you like this video, check out one of these. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.